Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
12 months of waiting is finally over. Hello everybody, welcome back again to the British Lawnmower Racing Association 12 hours of Wisborough Green. It's been a long time coming. It's been the longest 12 months of my motorsport season. I can't wait to get this event underway. It is genuinely one of the highlights of the British motorsport season for anybody who knows anything about motor racing, and we are here for what is promising to be yet again one of the toughest disciplines of British motorsport. We are here live on Downforce UK and on 87.7 FM for Radio Lamo. It's going to be again with Mark Akeroyd and Josh Penny. It's going to be a really exciting battle for the supremacy at the top end of the field once again, and we're going to see if it is potentially possible for the Northerners Kick Grass magnificent run of 5 race victories in a row. Will it increase or finally be beaten? It's a very tough battle ahead of us, and we're going to see some absolutely spectacular racing over the course of the 12 hours, which of course start this evening at 8 o'clock live here from Wisborough Green. There are so many teams from all over Great Britain and all over Europe, of course, as well. They have travelled from Belgium, from Luxembourg and from France. And of course this year we have a team all the way from the United States of America as well. They have come all the way from South Carolina for the Robin Dreams Motorsports team. It's an absolutely international event, an intercontinental event this year for what promises to be a fantastic 26th magnificent running of this event. In fact, it's probably even more than that. I'm trying to do my maths, but it is going to be an absolutely spectacular event ahead of us with all of the regular teams running at the sharp end. Leylux once again coming to challenge Northerners Kick Grass. Everybody that is regularly towards the sharp end, from Average Joes, Grass Bandits, Best Western, Who's Racing, Dead Bull Racing. All of the big teams are here once again to challenge for the top spot. And also in Class 3 as well, we've got the Westwood Lawn Bugs Battle and the cricket mowers, of course, as well as the tourist class runners from the Swede Bashers. It's a fantastic event. We're getting ourselves ready for qualifying, which will be over 45 minutes around the circuit here. We've had to move fields for this year, just over about 500 metres away from our original location, not far down the road at all, but it is going to be an absolutely exceptional running. And joining me in the commentary box for the very first time in the British Lawnmower Racing 12 hours, making his debut here at Wisborough Green, it is Josh Penny. Josh, first reactions so far to what promises to be a very rough and tumble race?
I am very much liking it, actually. It's taken very, very seriously, despite being all about fun. And the venue as well is very different to how I expected it. But there are a lot of things I like about it, like how the teams marshal the event and how the track looks as well. It's actually a really professional-looking layout. To be honest, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this event actually has to offer at a new venue this year. Actually, this is the first time it's been held in this particular field, as we get the green flag now. Apparently it's a longer track than a longer and thinner track than we used to, with longer straights. It should be an interesting one in terms of the order as well, because we do have a very steep incline up the pit straight, which a lot of people have been saying will affect the less powerful engines, including the Lonson engine, which is actually under possession of the favourite, the Northerners Kick Grass team. So it might well be that we end up with a different winner this time, but we'll see. We're only in qualifying. We have a long way to go.
A very, very long day at the office here as we get underway for the 45 minutes of qualifying here at the Wisborough Green 12 hours. And yes, there is going to be a very interesting battle ahead of us in qualifying, considering the fact that we've got the reigning champions for the last 5 years running, Northerners Kick Grass, running one of those Lonson power units. Now, interestingly, their engine, which is the newer version, the 413, that is a year old compared to their rivals over at Leylux, Lelux, the Luxembourgians, who have brought a brand new engine to the event this year. And obviously this is going to be a very interesting indication of what we're going to see over the course of the brigade. But there are several others in the mix, and obviously a lot of people have rumoured that the Lancing engine may struggle to get up this long incline.
I've just seen the number 90 car going past, actually, number 90 lawnmower. The driver, the helmet actually, has this kind of mohawk kind of almost hairdo on top of it. So that's an interesting touch there.
Now, I've already got an early tip for pole position, and that is going to be from the number 2 brigade, the Lelux team, because we have the double world champion of lawnmower racing in that crew, Bob Koerdinger, who is lightning fast. And if anybody's going to grab pole position in this qualifying session, it is going to be Koerdinger, who is absolutely rapid. He only knows 2 forms of speed. One is flat on the limit, and the other one is stationary, going nowhere. So it's going to be make or break for the Lelux team, almost certainly. But we have several engine manufacturers here. Obviously, you run your engine based on what your budget is, effectively. Most people have gone with a Lancing unit, either the 413 or the slightly older 390. There are a couple of teams that have chosen the Kohler, the 12 horsepower engine unit, namely Average Joe's and Dead Bull Racing. Both of them have a Kohler CP12. There are others who have, of course, gone for the Tecumseh, either with the 13 dead or the 13.5. Hondas are starting to creep in a little bit more to Group 4, of course. We have the Hondas run by Crash Test Dummies Reborn and the Swing Low Sweet Chariot. They have, they're running a Honda mower itself and a Westwood S800 respectively, both of them with fairly recently run-in engines, not particularly brand new. But the tractor class is very well populated this year, with 28 of them in the tractor class, Group 4. Heading over to the lawn bugs, they are slowly diminishing. There's only 9 of them in the 2018 running of the BLMRA 12 hours. And of course the slightly diminishing but still ever popular cricket machines for Group 2 are there. For the Night Riders, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, Ratties Racers, EJH Racing and Case Racing. None of their engines are particularly new, with exception to the Night Riders, who are running a brand new Lancing 390. Everybody else is running a very aged Honda GX340. I think the newest engine in that brigade is 5 years old. So again, budget racing very much in the mix there in Group 2. The 4th category is the tourist class, and that is for the Westwood Gazelle of the Swede Bashers of the number 90, and they are running a very different engine to everybody else that doesn't comply to the regulations. They're running a Honda 18 horsepower V-twin, and obviously that means that they can't compete for the overall victory, but they want to see how far in the 12 hours they can go anyway. So we're into the qualifying session now, 4 minutes in. It's a new circuit, and it's obviously been treated with the Bernie Ecclestone style sprinklers as they've gone around the circuit just beforehand to alleviate dust. And already there's a few drivers who are actually struggling to keep the mowers in a straight line up the hill as a result of the moisture. So that's going to break in very interestingly.
I'd like to point out, actually, the number 30 just had a spin down at the other part of the circuit. It looks very wet down there. Down at turn 3. I've seen a couple of mowers there going sideways, and the number 30, the green car, ended up facing back. Green mower, that's going to take a while to get used to.
Yeah, take a look at them at the bottom end. They're sliding all over the place as they come through. Northerners kick grass, basically drifting through that right-hand hairpin. That's going to be the way for the first few minutes of qualifying as well, while they bed in the basically they have to bed in the circuit, and they bed in the mud underneath it so that it becomes a lot more concreted, a bit more flat, a bit more rigid. But the heat will do a lot of that over the course of qualifying. You'll see the fastest qualifying laps later on into the session. The first times are coming in. If you are listening at home, wherever you are, then you can keep an eye on things via Race Monitor. So that is where you'll find the live timing, supported by MyLap Sports Timing. Great to have the support of Phoenix Motorcycle Training once again, supporters of this event, and it's going to be great to see how the qualifying session proceeds. At the moment, it is the Lelux team who are fastest with a fastest time of a 1 minute 50.849.
There's actually now a marshal standing on the home straight holding a meatball flag, the mechanical warning flag, and there was a driver from the 41 team right with him there who was pointing at another lawnmower, and it's being shown to the number 19.
It is the 19.
Stops by the side of the track there.
So that, rather sadly, is a difficult start to the 12 hours for 12 hours of pain, the number 19 squad. So they've pulled off to the side, and That's not the best of starts, but as we can see, the drivers and riders are starting to get into their mix now. They're trying to get into the flow. We actually saw a very dramatic start to the practice session earlier on. I don't want to jinx anything, or I certainly don't want to predict anything that's going to happen later, Josh, but Northerners Kick Grass, the reigning champions for the last 5 years running, they broke down in practice.
Look behind you, Jake. Oh, they've got... Oh, no, that's the number 7 car.
Yeah,
Never mind.
There's a couple of mowers to the side already. Now, who's that's parked up? That is the 11, I think.
I thought I saw the number 1. I think it was actually the number 7. No, it can't have been, because that's the dead ball. So it was the number 1 that was stopped there, the Northerners Kick Grass team. Right as you were saying that. There's also, I think, the number 11 there. That's one of the buggies.
That's Racton Racing. So that's
Racton
one of the tractors.
Racing.
Oh, and a spin going out of turn 2. Mower going the wrong way round and having to kick-start it. These are very, very slippery laps in the first part of quali.
And there was another one just rejoining the road there at turn 1. That went a long way off. It's the yellow one currently in turn 2. Driving sideways. That's very, very muddy down there. Just watch the mowers going through turn 2. That's almost ice racing there. And indeed, the times now are about 10 to 15 seconds slower than we saw in practice. The Swede Bashers have just gone to the top of the order. The number 90 vehicle, that's just gone to the top. It was previously Pain in the Grass Racing who were leading it. There's now 0.319 separating the two of them. Talking of some of the other cars, mowers rather, stopped.
That's
stopped.
number 1.
Yeah.
That's the first time of that.
No, that's about time 5 now. Stopped down at the hairpin. I also just saw the number 29 a few minutes ago, and then the number 22 stopped with them, and the driver of the number 29 vehicle actually helped the 22 to get going, gave it a bit of a push start, so good sportsmanship there. That was great to see, and they seem to have been cleared.
47 stopped on the pit straight.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, unfortunately, for... Who is the 47 this time around, this year? That is the This Way Up Racing.
This Way Up Racing, yeah.
So they had a reasonably strong race last year, but not the best of starts. But no, just to come back to what we were talking about earlier, Northerners Kick Grass have come onto this new field, this new circuit for 2018, and have struggled initially. They've got fast pace over one lap, no problem, but they have had a couple of breakdowns already. And they've had one in practice. They clearly have had one in qualifying already. So... this is a race, though, that, let's be fair, there is not a single team that's going to get away without a breakdown.
Deadbull Racing have just gone over a second quicker than anyone else. I wonder whether the track's drying here. Deadbull go to the top with a 1:48.023 rather. Still 10 seconds behind what we saw in practice. As Team Lalux goes to the top now, actually 12 seconds. Well, no. 4.6 seconds ahead of Pain in the Grass in second. So Lalux there at the top of the order, a 1:43.130.
That'll be Bob Kerdinger doing his thing.
Yeah, Kerdinger, I expect so. Top of practice, incidentally, I saw was a 1:28. So still about 15 seconds off the pace. That's due to the sprinkler going around and just making the track a lot wetter and a lot muddier. So we've effectively got a wet session here, but it will dry as the session goes on. And that's making qualifying very, very interesting because it means the times will be tumbling.
So let's talk you through the runners and riders for the 2018 BLMRA 12 Hours. For those who are tuning in, whether you are tuning in around the United Kingdom, around France, Belgium, Luxembourg, or even as far as the United States, hello to our American friends who are listening to the Downforce UK stream, or of course to Radio Lamo on radiolamo.com, or are listening here at the trackside at 87.7 FM. We've got an amazing roster of drivers. We've got a few spins out on the circuit by the look of it. That's the 45 that's gone around just behind us. That's the good, the bad, and the ginger in the Westwood Lawn Bug. This is the bit of the event I absolutely love. We're going to go through the runners and riders, Josh, as they get themselves up to speed. It's going to take a while.
I just saw contact at turn 3, actually. There are 3 cars. Mowers off 4 now. They're all going off.
Yeah, they're all sliding. There's a lot of moisture down there, so they're still getting used to bedding in the circuit so that it becomes a little bit more solid.
One of them slid directly into another one, so there was contact, I believe, from what I saw.
Yeah, at the moment it's a little bit like racing around the Black Lagoon at the moment, but they have to do this bit to get the rest of the circuit up to speed. You've got to do this because mud is safer than dust. So that's why they've had to do it this way. So that's going to be a little bit of flotsam and jetsam in the qualifying session for the moment. But let's talk you through the runners and riders.
Yeah, sorry, Jake.
While we've got an opportunity. Northerners Kick Grass, the reigning champions for the last 5 years, are coming into this event again, expecting to do the same with Mark Rostron, James Pawley and Andy Rostron in the team. And of course they are using their very trusty Wheelhorse Workhorse 700 with the Lonson 413 engine, which is a year old. The engine is a year old. The mower is considerably older than that. The Laylux team are running number 2 with their Wheelhorse 857 with the Lonson 413. Brand new engine, that one, for Bob Kurdinger, Christian Kaiser and Jeff Vilmes. Average Joe's in the number 3 Wheelhorse Raider with their Curler CP12 engine, which is 7 years old, that power unit. Andy Ballum, Matt Thompson and Chris Thompson in that particular squad, and they should be very strong throughout. The number 4 Grass Bandits will once again have Lee Potton, Adam Remnant and Ed Ansell in the Westwood Gazelle with the Tecumseh 13.0, which is 1 year old, that particular engine. We're keeping an eye on engine life this year because it's going to be a premium. Then we have Best Western, the 5 for Matthew Cable, Carl Dimmick and Jordan Bell, who are on their Wheelhorse 856 Lonson 390. That's only a year old, the power unit. Who's Racing, the number 6 for Colin Clegg, Dan Jones and Dean Fuller in their Greenfield with the Lonson 413. That's a brand new engine they've got. And then, of course, the guys who are incredibly entertaining, the Dead Bull Racing team, the number 7 for their drivers, Thomas Grimer, Tony Dwight and Joe Grimer in the Wheelhorse C121 with the Kohler CP12 engine. That engine is 10 years old, but do not expect them to be slow. Dead Bull Racing are gunning for victory, and they feel that 2018 is the year. I'm sure they're going to have an absolutely incredible run. Horseplay in the number 8, once again, with their Wheelhorse Commando 8 for the number 8, Lonson 390, 2 years engine life in that particular unit for Tom Jarman, Stephen Hammond and Simon Sharman. Trojan Racing are running the number 10 for Stuart Johnson, Will Ticehurst and Gary Botting in the Wheelhorse Commando 8 Lonson 390. That's got 3 years of life in that engine. You spotted something, Josh?
No, there's just a lot of crackling from your microphone. I wonder whether it's too close.
Right.
Yeah, kind of hurting my ears a bit there, but never mind.
We'll keep an eye on it as we go. Right, apologies for that. Apologies at home if the quality is a little bit lacking. We'll try and get on top of it.
That's better.
That's better. That's it. You see, I don't need to have my microphone quite so near me gob. That's what it is. The 11 is...
You've just put it back again.
I've just put it back. Oh, sorry. I do apologise. Ragton Racing, the number 11, for Michael Jury, Tom Strapalsis and Guy Kresick in the Murray 9190 for the team. They've got a Lonson 413, which is 3 years old, that particular engine. Going Commando have put a brand new Lonson 413 on their Wheelhorse Commando 8 for Carl Selby, Mark Robinson and Paul Standage in the number 12. The number 14 is Nobby Racing. They've got a Murray 1230 with a Tecumseh 13.5 engine, brand new. That is Chris Clark, James Waters and Phil Bollen in the team. DRGA Racing for the number 15. That is Dan Godden, Rob Rowlands and John David in their Wheelhorse Commando 7 for a brand new Lonson 413 engine has gone in that mower as well. We are not sure what engine Pain in the Grass Racing have put in. They haven't given us the details on that one, so I'll have to run and find out what engine they're running. But they're on their Western Auto Wizard 38DD, and the number 16 for the drivers, the drivers in the number 16, Carl Williams, Barry Thomas and Simon Funnell. Number 17 is Mowing Nowhere Fast. That's James Stanley, James Nichols and Feroz Salam. And they are running the very beautiful Countax C300H. That curvy bonnet is very different to all of the others. They're very easy to spot from a distance. The Countax C300H with their 1 year old Lonson 413, just going past us as we talk about them actually. Then it's Team Phoenix, all the guys and girls from Phoenix Motorcycle Training on the 18. They have Helen Sorrell, Ollie Lewin and Steve Sorrell in that team with their Murray Wide Boy with the brand new Lonson 413 engine they put in that particular mower, and we all wish them the very best of British. The 19 is 12 Hours of Pain. They've already had a couple of painful moments already. Andy Elphick, Sam Ralph and Sean Potton are going racing in their Wheelhorse Commando 8 with the Lonson 390, which has 2 years of life in that engine. And then all the way from the deep south of America, South Carolina, come the Robin Dreams Motorsports team. They've got a couple of Brits to help them out. Simon Campbell and Darren Tebbett are sharing with the South Carolina superstar Derek Robinson in his Wheelhorse 2115 with the brand new Lonson 413 engine that they put on that mower. It should be lightning fast around this circuit. The 21 is Crash Test Dummies Reborn for Devin Saunders, Ryan Connor and Stephen Saunders, and they've got a Honda with the GX340 engine, 2 years of old in that particular Honda. Then we have the Inbergreeners, brand new for this year. What a fantastic team name. Riley Williams, Dan Thomas and James Ford. And I'm going to be slightly polite here and say I hope they're not going to get mower mullered. I wanted to say bus something else, but someone else is going to... In-betweeners fans will know what I'm on about there, and I'm not going any further with that.
I haven't a clue.
No, just as well. I'm not going to explain it until at least 1 o'clock in the morning. Riley Williams, Dan Thomas and James Ford with the Wheelhorse Raider in their Lonsin 390 engine. Is 3 years old, so there's still going to be plenty of life in that one. This year we've got an amazing Warrior going racing, the number 23 for the Lux Lady team. They were going to have 3 racers in that team, but now Caroline Gilson is going to do the race all on her own. We have had racers compete in the 12 hours Lone Ranger and have gone solo. I think it's only been successfully completed at the finish line once, and that was last year. I'm sure that Mark Akeroyd can tell me who it was. I'm sure that his memory is going to be better on this than mine. But Caroline Gilson is going to do the whole race on her own. So if she does so, she will be the first woman in history to complete the BLMRA 12 hours single-handedly. That's going to be an amazing achievement if she can get there on the Wheelhorse A100 with the Lonsin 413 engine. Then we have the Cairo Tractor, another fantastic name. Phil Jennings, Richard Hawksby and Mark Vernals on the number 25 mower with their Wheelhorse C101, which has a brand new Lonsin 390 power unit. Swing Low Sweet Chariot is the number 26 for John Pace, Ed Pearson and Stephen Spice. They have a Westwood S800 with their Honda GXV 390 engine, which has 3 years of life on it. The Belgians for Team Heck Garden have come here for the number 27 for Francois Adreux, Wilfred Meunier and Loic Van Gazeel, and they have the Wheelhorse A110 with a 1-year-old Lonsin 413 engine. Good Moaning, clearly hello fans, the number 28, Nicholas Smith, Jonathan Tunbridge and Dan Comber on their Momaster with a Tecumseh 13.0 engine, which is 2 years of age. Roy's Boys Racing, the number 29 for Lee Bamber, Adrian Williamson and Ryan Wakefield. They've got an MTD with a Tecumseh 13.0 engine, which is 1 year old. And then the last 2 mowers in Group 4, the tractor class. Pawone Crazy Green, which is the Belgian and French brigade. The number 30 for Johan Piron, Daniel Paris and Julien Francot. They have a Wheelhorse B111 with a brand new Lonsin 413 engine. And then finally for Group 4, it is the Relentless Racing team, number 31, with Mark Gibbons, Lloyd Evans and Jimmy Dye with their Westwood Gazelle and a brand new Lonsin 390 engine. That's Group 4, that's the tractor class. On to the Lawn Bug class, everybody on a Westwood Lawn Bug. Team Tanswell have the number 41, and it's for Sean Tanswell, Sean Jonas and Billy Spice. They've got a new Lonsin 413 engine on their mower. Mo Fear is the 42 for Richard Johnson, Kevin Eden and Glyn Saunders. They've got a 1-year-old Lonsin 413 engine. R&M Racing for the number 44, that's Max Fradajewski, Ross Challoner and Peter Ayres. They've got a Tecumseh 13.5, which is brand new. The Good, the Bad and the Ginger, number 45, is Tom Tester, Jordan Beardsall and Paul Boxall, and they've got a 5-year-old Tecumseh 13.0 engine in their mower. Mad Max, the number 46 for Max Hayward, Pavlos Massos and Alistair Seymour. They've got a 2-year-old Honda GX340 engine. This Way Up Racing for just 2 drivers in their particular team, the number 47, Michael Nam and Andy Heather, and they've got a 2-year-old Honda GXV 390 engine. Mutt's Nuts for the number 48, Josh Ticehurst, Jake Parrott and Moley Chennell. For the Honda GX390 engine they've got, well, that's 2 years of age. They've got a brand new one, though, in the mower with attitude, number 49, for Richard Atherton, Joe Fowler and Peter Skew. The OT Racing team number 50 is Ian Thurston and Sam and Nick Osborne with their 5-year-old Tecumseh 13.0 engine. And then we move on to the cricket class, or Group 2, as it, of course, is known, for the cricket mowers. Number 61, the Night Riders, for their Atco 24 with a brand new Lonsin 390 engine for Mike Cresswell, Paul Johnson and Chris Plummer. Then the number 62, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Watch them in flight. They're going to be absolutely amazing once again. Paul Durbin, Simon Oakley and Chris Hinton on their Atco 24 with a 10-year-old Honda GX340 engine. No problem at all keeping them in check, though. Ratty's Racers, the number 63 for Ian Ratcliffe, Reg Funnell and Mark Fraser. They've also got an Atco 24. Their Honda GX340 power unit is 5 years old. Then we move on to EJH Racing. That is David Hull, Howard Annette and Steve Hodgson. They've got a Clio mower with their Honda GX340 engine, also 5 years old. And finally in that class, Case Racing, the number 65 for Will Case, Bryn Nolte and Wayne Case in their Clio Regina mower for a Honda GX340 engine, which is 9 years of age. And finally, the Tourist class, just the one mower, of course, in that. The Swede Bashers, number 90 for Gareth Moore, Paul Robinson and Mac Moore in their Westwood Gazelle with a Honda 18 horsepower V-twin engine, which is 7 years old. That is the entire field in their in full detail. The only gap in my paperwork there is the engine for Pain in the Grass Racing. We'll find that out before the start. With 20 minutes elapsed and 25 to go, Josh, how are things looking on the standings?
So, currently at the top with a time of 1:32.245 is the Laylux team. So, the times have come down significantly since we last looked. And, in fact, they are the first lawnmower to break the 50 mile per hour speed barrier with 50.930. We're going to get a lot faster than that as the day progresses. Second is Pain in the Grass Racing, actually over 2 seconds now behind the leader, as Jake Sanson completely messes up my timing screen.
Oh, was that me?
Yes.
Did I do that?
Oh, no.
No, sorry. They're having a play at the other end of the table. Thank you for blaming me, though.
Sorry. No, I saw your hand moving, and I assumed you were doing that.
My MacBook is very good, but it's not that chaotic.
Okay, so second is Pain in the Grass Racing, over 2 seconds behind the Laylux team. Third is Going Commando in the 12 team, and then actually not too far behind is the leader of the Group 3 class, who is Team Tanswell. So Team Tanswell going very, very quickly, only 3 seconds, in fact, 3.8 seconds off the overall leader. Second in that class is the R&M Racing team in 9th overall. And then following them in 10th overall and third in the Group 3 class is Mufir. Looking further down for the Group 2 runners, I can't see that far down. Can we go down on the timing screen a bit, please? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the top car or mower that I see is the EJH Racing car. EJH Racing car, rather. In 30th place overall, they've got a 156.726. That, of course, by far the slowest class. But of course, we expected they would be very physical mowers. The Group 2 cars. You have to steer them with your feet.
You do indeed.
Second is the Night Riders in 31st overall, and then completing that podium is the Battle of Britain Memorial or Memorial team. They're 35th overall and third in their class. Incidentally, we still have several mowers not to have set laps so far. We have 37 mowers that have, and 43 in the overall order. Several of those I recognise as having had troubles on track. The Rise Boys car mower in particular, I seem to see stop down at the hairpin pretty much every time I look. But still plenty of time to go in this qualifying session, over 10 minutes, and it seems like the times are still coming down.
Yeah, there's been a few difficulties for a couple of teams out there at the bottom end of that field, particularly Racton Racing, who haven't set a lap at all as yet. I think they went out initially, and ever since then have not really been able to get a strong lap time on the board, so that's a bit of a difficulty. Up at the top end, the boys from Laylux, once again, Koerding, Kaiser and Wilmes are doing a fantastic job and put in a 1:32.2. That is going to get faster as the session continues, of course, because we started the session having had the wet sprinkler system go out onto the circuit so that we minimise the dust around the circuit here, which is a major hazard, particularly on a brand new field that's never had mowers racing on it until about an hour and a half ago. Nobody had ever done any competitive mower racing on this circuit. In fact, nobody still has, of course, because the race hasn't started and won't until 8 o'clock. It's just been practice times since then. New fastest lap from Laylux. They've done a 1:32.245, and that is Koerding, Kaiser and Wilmes, who are now way out in front of the rest of the field. 1.4 seconds ahead of Pain in the Grass. Going Commando third from Horseplay. Then the Car Retractor. Average Joes are sixth, always in that top six. Then it is Best Western, Grass Bandits, Pieman and Crazy Green, and Relentless Racing in the top 10. You're probably thinking, hang on a minute, you haven't even mentioned Northerners Kick Grass. They've won it 5 years in a row. Where are they? Well, they are currently 11th, would you believe? And they have had some difficulties. So Northerners Kick Grass are only just getting back up to speed now as they are back out on circuit, having had some technical problems. So maybe they've actually dropped down as we get some more competitive lap times in. They've now dropped all the way to 15th position. So Northerners Kick Grass really struggling in the early stages, but they are now on some competitive flying laps. Out of the final turn comes the Best Western mower across the line. They're currently in 8th place. Can they go any faster? Yes, they do. Up into 6th place on a 1:35.5.
Interestingly, the Northerners Kick Grass team is actually behind the top 3 Group 3 vehicles. Here they come across the line. Oh, and they go right to the top. Very, very good lap from Northerners Kick Grass there. It's a 1:31.965. That's 0.280 ahead of the Lalux team in second. It's now 1 from 2 at the top of the order. Something sounds right about that. And with a very, very good lap, the times are coming down, and they're the first vehicle to travel over 51 miles per hour on a lap. So 51.085 is their top speed that they demonstrated on that lap. The Northerners Kick Grass team have suddenly started to kick grass.
Well, that ray of hope for the rest of the opposition didn't exactly last long, did it? What was that, 26 minutes? And now all of a sudden Northerners Kick Grass are back on top again. We are obviously trying to see if this is the year when their winning streak of 5 straight years at the top are finally going to be beaten. So far, it would suggest that I don't think so is the answer. Certainly on paper, the team looks absolutely invincible. They have won every single year it has been held since 2013. Obviously for 2012 there were difficulties which meant we couldn't unfortunately run the event, but they since the last time it was not run, the event has been absolutely dominant for Northerners Kick Grass, who of course are the team based over in nearby or very close to the racetrack over at Redford, and they race with the Northwest Lawnmower Racing Association, the BLMRA. And great to see them fighting back once again. They are absolutely adamant. We can win again. We can keep this winning streak going. There are 42 teams up and down the pit lane, though, who are absolutely determined that is not going to happen again. So interesting to see as they get themselves up to speed. Northerners Kick Grass have gone faster again. They've done a 1:30.4.
That's over, yeah.
They're a second and a half quicker than they've just managed.
Yeah, and over 1.7 seconds quicker than anyone else at the minute. So Northerners Kick Grass. Obviously the quickest vehicle at the minute. We expected they would be after winning the last 5 years. I suppose because it wasn't held in 2012, you could say they haven't lost in over 6 years.
Very true.
So, as Going Commando goes up into 3rd place there. So Going Commando up to 3rd. That's a change in the order. The number 12 vehicle there, Going Commando.
Team Tanswell's come up to the top 5. With a time of 1:34.392 is their best lap. That's very impressive. So that's the fastest of the lawn bug competitors. There's not many of them this year. There's only 9 in the lawn bug class, but up in the top 5.
Vehicle 21 being restarted at the bottom of the pit straight there.
Yeah, it's Crash Test Dummies Reborn. They're the only team in the entire field who have got a Honda mower. Lots of them have got Honda engines, but they're the only one with a Honda mower. As Dead Bull Racing go back out onto the circuit again.
I was saying they should probably launch a factory effort, being so based around Honda.
But I have a feeling their budget's going to be taken up by Red Bull Racing somehow next year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to focus more on that in Formula One, potentially. But fascinating stuff, as it's not gone too well at the moment for Devon Saunders, Ryan Connor and Stephen Saunders, as they're now working with their mechanics to get the mower back into the pit bay at the very end of the pit lane. We've got a nice roster of teams up and down the length and breadth of the pit straight here, of course, as the mowers are getting themselves up to speed. We've got a gap of 12 mowers down this side, and then a little bit of a gap, 10 mowers. Then we've got the podium, and then we have another 10 mowers followed by another 11 at the far end. So there's a nice gap all the way along so that we can keep up to date with the mowers as we go through. Group 4 leaders, Northerners Kick Grass, are leading overall with a 1:30.495 for the moment. Pain in the Grass are in second. Now they've gone ahead of the Lalux team from Going Commando and the Kyra Tractor. Leading Group 3 is Team Tanswell, who've been caught by Mo Fear, who are just 0.3 of a second off them in 6th and 7th place, those two teams. Third in Group 3 is now R&M Racing. They are 12th overall and only 6.7 off the fastest time. The tourist team, Swede Bashers, are currently only 9 seconds off the pace. I expected them to be about that, because although they've got a 17 horsepower engine, they're a little bit quicker in a straight line. That's only going to help them in 2 parts of the circuit, the 2 long downhill straights. Uphill, they're not going to get a massive amount of advantage compared to the others. Perhaps the engine's not going to be overworked as much as potentially the Lonsins or the Tecumsehs, but they're still going to really struggle in the shorter corners. Over the line comes Northerners Kick Grass, and they're just on a 1:31.3, not their best, but certainly enough, if that time was the only time they'd done, to still be fastest of all.
Tell you what, Team Tanswell just went to 4th overall. They could be challenging for an overall podium today. So a fantastic result, fantastic lap in that Group 3 lawnmower so far. And they're really challenging the top guys now.
It's definitely been done before. We have seen lawn bugs on the overall podium with Group 4s. Of course, it used to be a nice mixture of the two running at the front end. But considering that the majority of the field is tractor mowers rather than lawn bugs, it would be great to see a lawn bug mower up in the top 3. And Tanswell's speed at the moment looks like it could be enough.
Big jump from Dead Bull Racing. Dead Bull Racing jump about 7 or 8 positions there to go up into 7th position overall. That's 6th in class. So a big jump from Dead Bull. That's the number 7 vehicle, currently in 7th position. Incidentally, it isn't still 1 from 2 because Pain in the Grass Racing are up to 2nd. They've just improved their lap and got very close to the Northerners Kick Grass time, just a tenth of a second off it. So we do have a battle for the front of the order there. Northerners Kick Grass and Pain in the Grass Racing, both grass puns, incidentally. So seems like grass puns obviously add a couple of horsepower or something. But whatever the case, it's the number 1 from the number 16 at the top of the order for now.
Now, it looks to me as though there's been a slight... Well, is that a new fastest time for Northerners Kick Grass or not? They've just done a 1:28.1, which is lower than the minimum lap time that is recorded for this particular venue. So I don't know if that's... Is that a legitimate lap time?
Well,
1:28.1, it could be.
The interesting thing about that is that it's not showing as their best lap. It's showing as their last lap, which is quicker than their best. But that's obviously a logic issue. So something's obviously gone a bit wrong there. I mean, my initial thought was track limits issues, but where do you go off the track here?
There's not really any way you can go off the track and gain an advantage, certainly. No. So I would guess that potentially that 1:28.174 lap is being investigated at the moment by the timing monitors. Pete is hard at work having a look into that one. So drivers are continuing on, trying to get some fast laps in there, as up to 18th place now comes Relentless Racing. They continue to power around. Pain in the Grass still 2nd in front of Laylux, as the racers are still trying to get a bit more speed out of their mowers. We have currently gone through just past half an hour into the session now. So we are getting into the latter stages of this qualifying session. 33 minutes elapsed, which means there's only 12 more of qualifying. Northerners Kick Grass go through again and have just done what looks to me to be a 1:28.5. I think they've come through this time, just slightly slower than they managed on the last lap. That is particularly impressive pace. If that is legitimate, we think it might be. So that is very impressive stuff from Northerners Kick Grass. Clearly, those little hiccups and teething troubles they had in practice and qualifying, it's going to be a bit like watching Michael Schumacher in the early 2000s. They're not actually going to get much of an opportunity of moving forward, because these guys are going to have their mechanical problems away from the danger zone, as it were.
I've just found out what the issue was with the lap time.
Oh, was it a default setting on the timing monitor? Was it? That'll be what it is. So it's all sorted, so that's fine. And that means that their lap time of a 1:28.1 is legitimate, and that is a good 2.5 seconds quicker than Pain in the Grass Racing. That is astonishing at this phase of quali.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, at the start of the session, they were a whole 20 seconds slower than that when it was really, really muddy. It looks to me as if the track is back to normal now, pretty much, and the vehicles, the lawnmowers, can really start to push now. I've just noticed down at that red pit garage there, is that a proper pit board? I think I see a pit board with the word fuel on it.
I think it is,
yeah.
yes.
Wow.
There are quite a few people in the up and down the paddock here who are professional racers and, compete in various different disciplines of motor racing. There's a good history in the BLMRA 12 hours of a lot of competitive racing drivers and racing mechanics and things competing in the sport. So Bob Kerdinger has just made the switch to go into the Laylux mower. So he's going to challenge. There he goes past the pit straight. He is challenging for the top spot. Now, if anybody's going to take the top spot away from Northerners Kick Grass, it's going to be Bob Kerdinger. So we need to keep an eye on the number 2. But we were just talking about the history of the event and how there's been a lot of real racing links. Well, the McLaren Formula One team used to put a mechanics team into the grid every year. Back in 1978, Sterling Moss won this event with his mate Derek Bell. They've both won the event. Bell's actually won it twice, because I think he won it in 1980 as well. So, and in fact, it's not just attracted the past racers. I think the British touring car driver and Formula 2 racer Jack Clark was the last major name in motor racing to compete here. Did so back in 2013 for the pole position race team, of which I was part of the strategy management team.
Oh, very close call on the pit straight as 42 was pulling in as the 7 came out. The 42 had to take a big swerve.
Sounds about right.
Evasive action there.
That does happen. Now, where's Bob Kerdinger? We need to figure out where the Lelux car is, because he's just done a 128.8. So Kerdinger is definitely closing in. Here comes the Northerners Kick Grass team over the line. Is there going to be an improvement on this run? No, but a 128.5 is still fast enough to be fastest of all. But where is Kerdinger? Where is the number 2 for Lelux? I think he's on the far side of the circuit, so he should be coming into our view relatively soon. That's the number 6 pushing very hard through. That is who's racing. Onto the main straight comes the 8 mower. That's Horseplay chasing down the 27.
Coding is going up the hill at the minute. He's just out of the 22 car, which I think might be one of my favourite lawnmowers on the field, because it goes up onto 2 wheels every single time it goes through turn 4. Really quite impressive, the number 22.
That's the Invergreeners.
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised? They're new at this, so they're obviously learning about this sport the hard way. They're going to really start to ache by the time it gets to 1 o'clock in the morning if they're doing that every single time around. But fair play to them. They're going at it. Here come the 2 teams battling away for pole position. Lelux coming into view with Bob Kerdinger pushing hard at the wheel as he comes through on the far side of the circuit, now coming down into the closing stages of the lap, into the final turn. He's bouncing around all over the place as he gets a massive amount of opposite lock.
That was so fast. That was so fast.
Over the line, and that's a 131.9. He got held up in traffic there. He's still got 8 minutes to do something about it. But as the fuel depletes and as Kerdinger gets into his zone, he will start going faster and faster. He's Northerners Kick Grass going absolutely sideways through that final turn as he gets back on the power, down the hill and across the line. Is this a faster time? No, it's not. A 129.5. So they're going to be trading fastest laps if they can for the remainder of this session, with Pain in the Grass having gone back down to 3rd place. They are still on a 130.6, but they are 1.7 off this battle for pole position.
Goodness gracious, they're both going right up onto 2 wheels out of the final corner, bouncing around. It's very, very muddy and dusty up there. You see every car doing it, very, very bumpy.
And you know what? There's a rider there on the chirotract of the 25 who's got a camera on both the front and back of the helmet. I've never seen that before.
Oh, wow.
Checkered flag is out. Checkered flag is out. So it's now or never, because obviously the session had to finish at 4 o'clock, so we're not going to get the full time. We got delayed, unfortunately, starting the session because there weren't enough marshals on the post. So it's 4 o'clock. It's time to finish the qualifying session. Dead Bull Racing's going to crawl across the line, and they are only going to be able to start 11th at best. Going Commando is going to finish in 4th. Here's Team Tanswell. Can they break into the top 5 for the last lap? No, but they are the best Group 3 mower out there, with a 132.671 being their fastest lap. Here comes Bob Kerdinger. Last chance. Can he get the pole position over the line? What's he going to do? Not enough.
Oh, it's close.
28.8.
Yeah, it's an improvement. It's very well. It's actually not close at all. It's over 0.6 seconds off. So dominant performance from Northerners Kick Grass. Kodiger gave it his best shot.
Well, here come the Northerners over the line. Is there going to be one final improvement? Yes!
Oh, there is. Wow!
My goodness! A 127.6 from Northerners Kick Grass. That is a monstrous final lap.
1.226 seconds ahead of anyone else. The Lelux could do nothing about that. Northerners Kick Grass are dominant here at the BLMRA 12 hours. There you go, got it. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Half a second quicker in that final lap. That is an amazing amount of time to find. Bob Kerdinger brings the car back to the pits once again, brings his number 2 wheel horse back into the garage. I did my best, guys. I'm sorry, I tried, but I just couldn't find that extra 1.2, whereas Northerners Kick Grass bring the mower in, And he is a very happy chappy. Pole position this year for Northerners Kit Grass. They start their weekend as they mean to go on. We'll have a quick run through to figure out who is where. And obviously there's going to be a potential couple of changes before we go to the actual grid. But Northerners Kit Grass grab pole position.
Now, who do you think was driving that? Could it have been one of the rostrons, Mark or Andy, or was it James Pauly there? I don't know the drivers well enough. He's taken his helmet off now. Do you recognise the chap?
I'm going to have a look from a distance. I think you guys down at Northerners Kit Grass, you need to give us an idea. Was it Mark in the mower? Was that Mark? I don't think they can hear us, unfortunately. They should do. There's a massive PA system pointing that way.
Hello, Northerners Kit Grass,
I can't
number
tell if
one.
it's Mark Roster and it was in the mower or not. Oh, they'll tell us later. Anyway, was it Mark in that mower at that point? Yes, it was.
Yes.
I thought it was. I thought it was Mark Rostron. So
Thank you.
Mark Rostron finding a 1:27.6 right at the end of the session there. And really impressive stuff from the team that has won the last 5 years in a row. Can they make it 6th and continue their record streak? That would be absolutely incredible. So Northerners Kit Grass finish up as the fastest on a 1:27.6. Laylux have a 1:28.8 in the final recording, and they are second. Pain in the Grass third in front of Going Commando, the Cairo Tractor, and Who's Racing. Team Tanswell is the best Group 3 mower. They are 7th overall, ahead of the Group 4 Horseplay team in 8th. Then Mo Fia, the second of the Group 3 mowers, in 9th. And Best Western round out the top 10, ahead of Average Joe's, Dead Bull Racing, Grass Bandits in 13th from Nobby Racing. The American team, Robin Dreams Motorsports, in 15th on their debut. Very good work indeed from them. R&M Racing in 16th on the grid in the Group 3 machine. So they are the third best of the mowers in position there. We will find out shortly when we get our timing screen back in front of us who is going to be doing what in the remainder of the views. But obviously we need to print the official results for our own reference, so we're going to focus on that. But that really sets us up with a really exciting battle. But good to see that best of the rest in there, behind the two top teams from last year, Northerners Kit Grass and Laylux. It's going to be pain in the grass if things stand the way they currently are. Third position, they'll be really happy with that.
Well, we're waiting for the results. A rather nice Mini with a giant Red Bull can has just pulled up.
They get everywhere, don't they, those Red Bull Minis? They get everywhere.
I think I've seen one of those at Silverstone before, but yeah.
I've seen one of those on the streets of Liverpool while I'm walking mid-dog, would you believe?
Wow.
But they're all over the place. But great to see the Red Bull Mini is here. And obviously, if you're wanting that sort of refreshment, I'm more towards, looking at race drivers and mechanics to stay up in the long hours. You're allowed Red Bull. You're not allowed anything stronger, mind. But yes, energy drinks are available, as are ice creams, of course. Mr. Whippy is hot in operation here at the circuit. You've still got plenty of time if you're tuned to 87.7 and you're in the area and you want to get down here. 7 o'clock is the best time to get here if I were you. You'll get a good vantage point for the Le Mans start, which is exactly as the Le Mans 24 Hours started right up until 1969, which was your vehicle is parked on one side of the circuit, you're all on the other side, the Union flag will drop, and then you've got to dash to your mower, climb on, start it up, and off you go racing. It's a very dramatic way to go starting a major endurance race, but it's the way we like it. And in lawnmowers, it's way more safe than it is in Le Mans 24-hour endurance racing. So we're happy to do it as long as everybody else is, and everyone loves it.
Yeah, fantastic to see. It just adds a bit of charm to this race, doesn't it? I mean, it has a lot of it already, but that Le Mans start just adds the icing to the cake, I suppose. They do treat it very seriously here. It's great to see. We've just had a proper qualifying shootout there. Very exciting. The drivers were really pushing it. If you saw them coming out of the final corner there, or turn 4 at the bottom end of the field, bouncing around, up on 2 wheels, no control, fantastic, up against the hay bales. You can't get much more on the limit than that in a lawnmower.
I think they're basically flirting with disaster if you push it any further than that, aren't you? So really exciting stuff, and a great end to our qualifying session. The race itself kick-starts here at 8 o'clock. We're going to be going live via Downforce UK and 87.7 FM, probably about half an hour before that, I'd say, at about 7:30. So do make sure you're sticking around for that. For those of you listening around the world, for those of you listening here trackside, we're going to take a breather and we'll be back ready for the big one. Starting at 8 p.m, the 12 hours of Wisborough Green, once again supported by Team Phoenix Motorcycle Training. It's going to be a great year for the BLMRA 12 hours here in 2018. First blood to Northerners kick grass. Laylooks are right in behind, and 41 other teams want to make their feelings felt here at Wisborough Green.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.